With Screen Stories, you are the star of Storytime. Kids love DVDs, so what if they had one of Grandma reading nursery rhymes? Or DVD of Dad reading Jack and the Beanstalk before he goes overseas? That's what we do at Screen Stories. We make DVDs of your family, professional and permanent. Want a DVD of Mom reading 'Twas the Night Before Christmas? Call our studio at 314-262-8777 or go to myscreenstories.com. Screen Stories, you are the star of Storytime.
Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Where's the little boy who looks after the sheep? Why, he's under the haystack, fast asleep. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row.
A beanstalk had grown up overnight, right where his mother had thrown the beans. And not just any beanstalk. This beanstalk was so tall that Jack could not even see the top. They really were magic beans, Jack said. I wonder how high up the beanstalk goes. And so with that, Jack started climbing the beanstalk. Jack climbed and climbed and climbed. He climbed so high that the birds flew by. Jack climbed right through the top of the clouds and couldn't believe his eyes.
And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof all the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack.
Slippy heard the wolf and turned to see the huge beast running right towards him. Slippy ran into his house of straw and shut the door. And just as the wolf came up, the wolf beat on the door, yelling, little pig, let me in." "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," said Slippy. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," roared the wolf. With that, the wolf drew a great breath and then whoosh, let out a blast of air so strong that Slippy's weak little house was blown down.
Little Red Riding Hood came into the house and went to her grandma's bedside. She thought that something looked very different about Grandma. Little Red Riding Hood said, "Why, Grandma, what big eyes you have." "The better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Grandma, what big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my dear." "Grandma, what big teeth you have."
The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville Nine that day. The score stood 4-2, but with one inning left to play. And when Cooney died at first, and Burrows did the same, a sickly silence fell upon the patrons of the game. straggling few got up to go in deep despair. The rest clung to that hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought if only Casey could but get a whack at that, they'd put up even money now with Casey at the bat.